Something is coming. Something hungry for blood. A shadow grows on the wall behind you, swallowing you in darkness.
What is it?
Boom. Boom. Boom!
Fireball hit Will!
Stop! Boom!
We're deep.
Internet, welcome to Film Theory, where every week we talk about strange things, but today we're going above and beyond and talking about Stranger Things. And just you wait, because next year I'm gonna go create my own show named Strangest Things and one-up them all. What you gonna do to beat that, Netflix? Create strangest-ist things? I don't think so. But in all seriousness, Netflix's smash hit from last year is back for season 2 starting tomorrow. And based on how quickly people binge watch these shows, I've got like 30 hours before this theory either gets proven 100% or gets itself completely debunked. So enjoy the video now, then come back this weekend and laugh along with the comments at my abject humiliation at being oh so very wrong. Now, for those of you who missed season 1 because you only watch YouTube, firstly, thank you for giving me a job. But secondly, let me catch you up on everything you need to know to understand today's theory. Stranger Things takes place in the small town of Hawkins, Indiana, way back in the 80s. It's the story of a bunch of young outcasts who find themselves another, even more misunderstood outcast, and they all embark on a crazy adventure together. No, not that one, but I do understand the confusion. You see, in Stranger Things, the Hawkins National Laboratory is actually a front organization for the CIA's Project MK-Ultra, a very real and very bizarre government initiative that drugged people in an attempt to develop mind control techniques for use in the Cold War. Sounds like a stupid plan, right? And tremendously inhumane. But in the show, it actually works on a young girl named Test Subject 11, who acquires some swell psychic abilities in the process. Now, as you can imagine, being kidnapped as a child then tortured for use as a government tool kinda sucks, and Test Subject 11 escapes at the first chance she gets. Bad news there for the CIA. Worst news there for everyone else, there's a bloodthirsty monster on the loose. You see, the MK-Ultra experiments may just have also created a portal to an alternate dimension Earth called the Upside Down, where everything is basically the same, only dead, darker, and with a ton of allergens floating around in the air. So looking for some better air quality or just an Allegra, a monster called the Demogorgon escapes through the portal and goes on a killing spree throughout Hawkins until 11, along with her D&D buddies, traps it in the town middle school and destroys it. And perhaps herself using her mind powers. Hashtag small town problems. So that's the basic gist of season 1, but shortly after its release, one fan theory gained a whole lot of popularity. That 11 and the monstrous Demogorgon are one and the same. I.e. that just like the same buildings and locations exist in the Upside Down as they do in the real world, maybe people have equivalents in the Upside Down as well. And that the Demogorgon is the Upside Down version of L. It was a good theory with some decent evidence at the time, but it wasn't 100% convincing. So with the new season on the horizon, I went in and I did a bunch of digging myself to see what else I could find, and oh boy, I think you're gonna be surprised. So that's the plan for today. Review the existing evidence suggesting the connection, as well as the additional hints, clues, and science I've been able to find that support the idea, then cover the huge hint that exists in the season 2 trailers, and what started as an interesting idea becomes a convincing theory by the end of the day. So grab your favorite breakfast snack of choice, and let's begin. Hey, except for that one. Lego my ego. First, the existing evidence. The theme of duality is everywhere in Stranger Things. I mean, look no further than the Upside Down itself. It's a dark version of Earth where everything has a mirror image. That's, pretty darn obvious. Then there's the episode 1 reference to X-Men comic number 134.
I'll take your X-Men 134!
AKA the start of the Dark Phoenix saga, in which Jean Grey, a powerful psychic mutant, becomes an even more powerful entity known as the Phoenix. The story goes that Jean eventually develops an evil alter ego known as the Dark Phoenix, becoming a superpowered villain that the X-Men must unite to defeat. At the end of the series, Jean Grey sacrifices herself to save her friends. It's an interesting choice of comic, considering that 11, a psychic, might just have an evil counterpart that she too sacrifices herself to defeat in order to save her friends. Parallels? I think so. Even the choice of calling this Mario Piranha Plant reject monster the name Demogorgon supports this theory. As we see in the opening minutes of episode 1, the Demogorgon is an actual monster from the real-life game of Dungeons & Dragons. For those who don't know, since its first appearance back in 1976, the Demogorgon has remained one of D&D's most iconic monsters. monsters. And although a few things about it have changed over the years, a few design features have always stayed consistent, specifically the monster's two heads sharing one body. One head represents deception and lies, and the other is madness and insanity. They are themselves a duality. It's also canon, according to Dungeons & Dragons 3rd edition, that both heads are secretly out to destroy each other. So you have two connected heads that are trying to destroy each other. Sounds kinda like Elle and the monster, two connected entities that are trying to kill one another. Even the themes of the two heads connect to these characters. Elle would be associated with deceptions and lies because she's a product of a government cover-up. She was kidnapped, she was used. The monster, meanwhile, seems to lack all rational thought. It's drawn like an animal to the scent of blood. It kills indiscriminately. It's an entity of madness that lashes out at everything, including Eleven's creator, Dr. Brenner. Which, by the way, is an interesting scene that, to my knowledge, no one has picked apart yet. When the monster appears at the school at the climax of the show, it doesn't go after the people who are literally shooting at it with automatic machine guns. It makes a beeline straight for Dr. Brenner, Eleven's so-called father who spent his life torturing her as a part of MK Ultra. Up until this point in the show, the monster had been attacking anything and everything with abandon, so why here is it selecting its target? And why specifically Brenner? It only makes sense if 11 is the Demogorgon, embodying her madness, her rage. That's how the monster knows him. It has a personal connection to him through Elle. It kills him because that's what Elle would love to do to Brenner. But perhaps most blatantly of all are the parallels that happen in the final moments of the season. First, the Demogorgon raises its hand just as Elle finishes him off. Elle raises her right arm, and the monster, for no reason, does the same right before it disappears. They are literally mirroring each other, and when the monster disappears, so does 11. 11 even says that she is the monster.
I'm the monster.
Coincidence? Obviously not. Oh yeah, and all of this is without me even mentioning the fact that Elle is the reason the monster comes to Hawkins to begin with. She comes into contact with him during one of her telepathy sessions, which is what opens the rift the Demogorgon escapes through. If that doesn't seal it for you, I don't know what will. Actually, yes I do, because I have even more evidence to throw onto this pile. One element most recaps of this theory overlook is how 11 and this Pan's Labyrinth wannabe share the exact same power set. And when I say the exact same powers, I mean the exact same powers. We see multiple times near the end of the season that one of 11's powers is to access the Upside Down from the real world without crossing over. She uses this ability most frequently to speak with the missing boy, Will Byers. The monster is also able to do this, either fully or partially crossing over whenever and wherever it feels like. Even in the original planning phases for the series, it was clear that 11 and the monster were meant to be parallels of each other. In the original pilot script, people would bleed from their nose and ears when in contact with the Demogorgon, similar to how 11 bleeds from her nose and sometimes her ears when using her telekinetic powers. Even science supports the connection between the two characters. Throughout season 1, we see that when 11 has to push her powers to their limits, like when attempting psychic communication between worlds, the electricity of the surrounding area flickers or just goes completely out. It's the exact same effect that the Demogorgon has on electricity. Whenever he's close and surrounded by electric lights, it always causes everything to flicker. This electric potential is also something we see come across in the interdimensional phone calls that happen in the series. Will's mother Joyce repeatedly gets phone calls from her son in the Upside Down, calls that get cut off when the monster is near, and the calls always end with an electrical shock, again showing his electric potential. Convinced? No? Come on! I mean, at this point, even the characters think she's the monster.
Did you ever stop to think that maybe she's the monster?
Fine, be a stickler then. The biggest clue that absolutely proves the connection between 11 and the monster is something that we've all known about since the very first episode of the series, and something that has been very consciously reinforced in the season 2 trailers. In the beginning of episode 1, the monster shows that it's able to unlock Will's door telepathically. Look at how the director frames the shot and shows the monster clearly able to slide the door lock. And throughout season 1, we see how Elle's able to perform similar telekinetic tricks, like making the Millennium Falcon float, flipping a car, and, opposite of the monster, locking a door. So that already shows that both she and the monster possess telekinesis, but I think the creators of the show are hinting at a little bit more than that. Here's the key moment in the season 2 trailer I'm referring to. We see Eleven running through the woods before getting a close-up of a sliding door lock, just like the one we saw at the very beginning of season 1. And just like before, it slowly slides until it unlocks. But this time, we're assuming it's being done by Elle, because it's the middle of the day and we just saw her running. The show is giving us a direct parallel between the actions of the monster and the actions of Elle, which means either the monster isn't dead, or at this point, Elle is the monster. You've gotta be convinced, right? The names, the powers, the parallel scenes, the pop culture references, even the science. Everything points to them being one and the same, and that has huge implications for the story. Remember, like the lore of the Demogorgon, as long as one head exists, the other remains, locked in this eternal struggle to destroy each other. And as we can see, Elle is certainly a part of this season, which means we may not be done with the Demogorgon, and won't be until Elle chooses to sacrifice herself, this time for good. Or alternatively, she's just the monster now. Could definitely be that. Or option 3, the new season has literally nothing to do with any of this. That's probably the one it'll end up being. But hey! Oh, wait! Even the number 11 reads the same forwards and backwards. Right side up and upside down. Boom! Done! Mic dropped! But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Want some more Stranger Things? Or maybe just more of me being a goofball? Well, in either case, you're in luck because I'm hosting a new show in partnership with Amazon Fire TV called Couchland, where I get you up to speed on all the must-watch biggest shows that are streaming in less time than it takes to toast your Eggo waffles. So far, I've covered Transparent, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and of course, Stranger Things. But other big-name titles are on the way, including Westworld, which I've done a theory about here on the channel. So if you want to know what's worth watching, or just want to get caught up without having to watch the whole series from the beginning, or heck, if you just want to spend a bit more time with my lame jokes and Ronnie's cartoon recreations of some of entertainment's biggest names right now, then check out Couchland on the Amazon Fire TV channel. Link is in the description, or better yet, just click the annotation you see on screen right about now, or in a few seconds from now. They can only appear with 20 seconds left on the video. Each episode is like 3 minutes long, so go over there and tell them Matt Pat sent ya. Seriously, please do it. It'll make me look really good to Amazon if you just flood their comment section with how excited you are to have more Matt Pat in your life. In fact, you could even do this. Go over there and comment, Matt Pat is so blank, I want to blank. Obviously, you replace the blanks with funny words. Or don't, whatever. Now go, watch, stream, and enjoy. And now, if you'll excuse me, I need to keep refreshing Netflix so I can just marathon my way through season 2. See you on the flip side, or should I say, the upside down side. Whatever, just click and I'll see you next week.